Hello, welcome to BBC Learning Zone through the night on BBC Two. And tonight we focus on work skills in the community. And this is what we have in store. 4 hours worth of the skills and knowledge needed for work with a charity or community organisation. Later, media relations, enterprising ideas and what you need to know. But first, raising funds.
Good day. You know me? That's right, Vass Blackwood. Yeah, lock, stock, mean machine. No, for me, a celebrity, it's very, very hard to stay glamorous. Yeah, it's so expensive to keep up on the top. So I'm going to set up a little campaign. I know what that campaign is. Stars Need Bling.
If I was describing you, because this is radio, you're diminutive, aren't you?
Yes.
Is that a problem?
No, not at all.
When I watch women's football on television, there's some big old units having a go.
Yeah, but I'm small but very determined on the pitch.
I dare say.
Lou Pantelli's Development Officer for Hendon Ladies Football Club. She's sick and tired of the negative myths and stereotypes that have dogged women's football for years. Now she and her teammates are on a mission to change the public image of women who play the beautiful game.
How do you respond to people like Sepp Blatter when he says that, never mind about Brazilian skill, the way to get more people through the turnstiles and get more people interested is wear skimpier kit?
Women have enough images in advertisements which show physically, unrealistic portrayals of women, and we don't really need to bring that into women's sport because it'll put girls off playing sport if they have to worry about how they look.
Do you think there'll come a time where people will just not turn on television and say, oh look, women's football, they'll just say football?
Yes, but it's going to take a lot of hard work from people like myself.
4 weeks ago, no one at Hendon Football Club would have believed that Lou could give such a confident performance on live radio. This is the story of how a community football team took on the lessons of marketing, PR and branding to promote a more positive image of the game they love, as part of a drive to raise some much needed funds.
Christian Aid is calling on world leaders.
More and more charities and voluntary organisations are recognising that effective marketing can be the key to attracting support for a cause. Even a group as small as Hendon Football Club can benefit.
Reasons why it's important to have an awareness of marketing is that it's an incredibly competitive market in the UK. Almost 200,000 UK charities all competing for the same share of wallet, if you like. Therefore, they need to understand how you can communicate with people, how you can engage people, how you can target people, what they will and won't be interested in. And they need to find distinctive ways of engaging as well.
So first lesson, you've got to let people know what you stand for.
It's a big campaign, darling. Stars Need Bling. When you go out, you like to look good, don't you? Now, what do you think it's like for a celebrity when he goes out and he has not one piece of bling around his neck? There you go. Bling up the stars, because stars need bling.
In central London, the women of Hendon Football Club are visiting the offices of Future Brand, a leading branding and image consultancy. They're here to find out how to market themselves using sophisticated branding and PR techniques.
There are a lot of sports that are covered for men, okay? But women's sports, you hardly get that. You don't even get a fraction.
I completely agree with you, Lou. I've seen that all over the place and it's really, really annoying.
If you were a brand, we'd approach it, women's football could be a brand, Hendon could be a brand in itself, but we'd approach it in terms of what are your attributes, what am I buying into when I go and see a game of football, or when I go and see Hendon play? Whether they like it or not, and they really do like it. Football teams are all branded now, and football stars are branded. You go and see Arsenal because you know you're going to go and see a certain style of football, and these teams are they're following through on their promise, and that's what a brand does. When I buy a Mars bar, I know what I'm going to get.
Which bit do you want to focus on? Because clearly the bit you choose to focus on will determine what your brand is. List to me the benefits that you think there are in a women's game of football. What bits of the game of women's football would be an improvement? Is it more skillful?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily more skillful.
Is it tactical? Tactically,
it's tactical and it is technical.
Violent isn't the word, but are there less fouls in women's football?
No.
No? So it's equally as aggressive, or it's equally as contact as sport as men's?
What I would do is I'd go back and have a sit down with everybody who's involved in making the club what it is, and you should write down what you stand for.
Looks like the ladies have got their work cut out.
Often when you start first worrying about brands and brand problems is you decide everybody's thinking about you all the time and they just don't like you. The worst thing to accept when you have a branding problem is people aren't thinking about you at all and they're just not worried about you. But one way or another, women's football has the task of getting itself on the radar before it even starts worrying about how to build a brand beyond that.
I say the key to drawing attention to your cause or campaign, 3 things. First of all, make sure you've got clarity of message, make sure it's easy to understand and it's not too highfalutin. The second thing would be to target it, and target it really precisely, the right papers, the right people. And then finally, just speak with enthusiasm and passion and other people will be interested. But another idea was maybe if you could contact the Football Fields Association and see if they've got a really uneven football field somewhere, and then you could play a match, you know, primary school girls versus primary school boys on the uneven football field and make sure the girls lose, and then do a whole press release about, you know, the challenges that face women and this, that and the other, to really try and get some of your key messages home about how you need to be supported.
How about taking on your point though, and have some sort of football festival where they come and try out Brazilian soccer, then maybe I invite the girls and the guys down from Football de Soleil school and actually to demonstrate, okay, this is the stuff that you can get involved in, this is what you could potentially turn into, and we have all the parents and all the schools coming down, and then we bill it out to businesses and say, come and sponsor it, this is what's going to happen to these kids, this is the benefit they're going to get, why don't you stick your hands in your pocket and sponsor this event?
I mean, maybe you could go to someone from the Bend like Beckham cast, they're quite into women's football, aren't they? We don't underestimate.
Big stars now though, aren't they?
Yeah, but why not? Why not? They must have a genuine interest by now after making that film. It's worth asking them, finding out who their agents are.
Remember, it's always a bonus if you can get a celebrity involved.
Roll up, everybody come on. And take a photo with a famous celebrity. That's it. Hey, you see it, everyone? Take a photograph, lovely. Take a photograph. That's it. All right, give me £50. £50. For taking a picture with him for stars who need bling. That's what it's for. Give me the money.
No, I don't think so, mate. I'm so sorry. I'm not giving you £50 to take a picture with him.
That's not, you know what that is. That's Jack for love. Huh? What do you mean what happened, man? Get over there, man. Get over there. Stand over there.
In these days of celebrity overkill, there's plenty to go around. But beware, some are a little more credible than others.
When you work on TV or you do something in the public eye, you do get asked by lots of charities to endorse it or to do something that supports it. And initially, of course, you want to do something for everybody, but eventually you realise that that's not possible, so you kind of have to choose the one that you genuinely care about, that genuinely represents how you feel.
People are interested in what celebrity have to say. They trust them more than, say, politicians, so they're great for awareness raising. Celebrities are very media savvy, they're great communicators, so great for relaying your message. They have mass appeal to the public, or celebrities can be used to promote diversity.
At around $100,000 a pop, TV advertising must be one of the most expensive, but one of the most effective tools of persuasion. This anti-smoking commercial for the British Heart Foundation is said to be one of the most successful of all time. More than 90% of viewers claimed it had left a lasting impression on them.
Anyone who is producing a campaign for charity, they've got a wide range of tools that they can put into effect.
Would you think differently about me if I was white?
While most commercials are used to sell, they can also be used to break down prejudice and challenge ideas.
The Campaign for Racial Equality ad is really looking to be an ad that gets talked about. The ad's there to communicate in its own right, but it's also there to generate media coverage. So in a way, it's a campaign that's there as really more part of a public relations campaign.
The difference between advertising and PR is that advertising is bought space and you have 100% control over it. You know when it's going in, you know how much it costs, and you can get the exact message that you want to get out. But what it doesn't do is necessarily convince people. They know that it's advertising, they know that you've bought it. It hasn't got the endorsement of an editor or a journalist who's actually writing about it. For Hendon Women's, I would say that PR is probably more important than advertising, mainly because of their resources.
Over in Hendon, Lou's making the most of her PR opportunities with a whistle-stop tour of press interviews. Armed with the lessons she learnt at Future Brand, she's hoping to dispel the myths about women's football and to promote the club's forthcoming Soccer Carnival. First up is a chat with local weekly paper, the Hendon Times.
Is there a sort of stereotyped female football player?
I think there's a myth that says that, women are not psychologically tough enough to play the sport, but that's not the case. A lot of young girls are coming through because they enjoy it. It builds confidence. That's one of the key things, if you join it at a young age.
Next up, The Guardian, one of the few national newspapers with a women's football correspondent. But once again, Lou's forced to confront the issue of using sex to sell the women's game.
I remember Bristol Rovers released a tastefully shot calendar of nude pictures and so on. Why did you not go for something like that?
To tell the truth, we're being a community-based team. We're very sort of strong on creating positive images for young women, and I don't think the calendar would have fitted in with our philosophy. It's not the sort of image I think we should be creating in any women's sport. We encourage it to be sexy.
At the Community Channel, Lou gets a chance to promote the big event to a TV audience.
So Lou, thanks for joining me. Why a Brazilian soccer school?
Because it's different. It's different from the traditional football coaching methods. It's very fun. It uses music, integrates the kids in a very lively environment, and they get to learn moves and tricks that made Ronaldo and Pelé famous.
Right, Hendon ladies football team are looking to bring a taste of the Copacabana beach.
Finally, it's that live interview with Danny Kelly at BBC London Radio.
You're going to try and get young women to be inspired by the sight of the Brazilian skills that we talked about. What inspired you to want to play football?
I like playing in a team sport. I love the skill factor of football, and guys played it for years, my brothers played it, and I wanted a piece of the action, so that's why I did it. Meeting the press was like battling it out on the pitch. There was a lot of challenges, a lot of things to get through, and in the end the day ended up being quite a winner for me, really. I would rate my performance today probably a good 9 out of 10. Not too bad. I think I did really well, and I think I'm sort of quite natural at this, actually.
But however good your PR is, you've still got to get your message out onto the streets.
Stars need bling. £5 can feed a third world child for a week. £10 helps keep the homeless off the street for a day. £1,000 can help your favourite celeb put a down payment on a platinum watch.
Okay, I've made up a leaflet, for you guys to look at. This is the leaflet we're going to hand out today. And really, this is to try and encourage as many spectators to come down on the night, enjoy the events. Hopefully today we're going to go down to Barnet and Cricklewood and Kilburn and areas like that, and see how many leaflets we can get out and about, and see how many people we can encourage to come down.
The kinds of impression that they want to be giving when they're doing face-to-face on the street is one which really gets across that they're passionate about what they do, and they really do believe in it and are interested in it. Nobody's going to be interested unless you are in the first place. Don't perhaps bother chasing people that really aren't interested, but also make it fun. As the event's taking place, they're going to be on a bit of a roller coaster ride, making sure that everything's in place, that people are turning up where they're supposed to be. But hopefully, as things work out, they'll relax and start to enjoy it.
Four weeks after starting their campaign, Hendon's hard work has paid off. More than 100 spectators have turned up to their soccer carnival with almost as many Brazilian performers. So how successful does Lou think they've been in their effort to persuade people about the positive side to women's football?
I hope that the spectators that came down tonight go away thinking that women can play football and they can also display the skills just like the guys, and that it's a fun sport. We can create positive role models for girls, and that it's a sport they can enjoy and participate in with confidence.
Hi everybody, my name is Vass Blackwood, and you remember me again from Lock, Stock and Whatnot. I've started up this campaign, Stars Need Bling. It's very hard for me, as you know, to go out without any bling. So, give to the needy, bling me up, come on, I need some cash.
There's no money. We can never work with you guys unless it's out of the kindness of our hearts, because there's just no money.
My name is Amy Riley, and I'm the General Manager for Audioactive 2, which is a youth music project based in Brighton.
Audioactive started as a direct response to young people in Brighton and Hove on estates saying, we need youth music project. We need someone to come along and do music technology workshops, DJing workshops, performances, events for young people, preferably by young people.
Audioactive's been a part of my life for about 2-3 years now, and I've always been going there like since day one, since it first happened. So I don't know, to lose it would, I don't know, it'd be quite a great loss.
What Audioactive needs right now is money to run workshops, pay the rent and pay the admin worker.
This is the story of how Amy and the young people of Audioactive teamed up to save their music project by learning how to fundraise.
Fundraising is getting money from people. That's what it is, pure and simple. You need money, you need to go out and you need to ask people to give it to you. You can phone them, you can just stand on the street corner rattling your tin, you can use face-to-face fundraising to try and solicit direct debit, and then of course there's events as well. It's very, very competitive.
Where can I get some money now? Wait, short stuff, give us some money for bling. Quick! Give me some money! Ah, oh, darling, bless you. Thanks, love. Give us some money! Can I have some money, please? Well, go home and get some.
I think it's a very personal thing, giving money to charity. You've got to want to do it.
If you just go up to people and say, give me your money, I don't think it's right.
I think it's better to get out there and talk to people, whether it's in a club or on the street.
First stop for Amy and her team is one of Brighton's most popular attractions, the Brighton Bears Basketball Club.
Cash collection would be much better for a community group to do this because they're getting access to cash immediately.
Thanks, sir.
There's little outlay required in advance and there's a lot less organisation involved. And of course the good thing is they're all going to be volunteers and everyone can do that.
I think it helps if people know what's going on. They can appreciate like what we're trying to do and we're not just out there causing trouble. We're actually trying to do something for ourselves.
Community projects, especially for young people, if they're looking to raise money, they have a problem with confidence, first of all. It's not an easy thing. It's quite a daunting thing to go out and ask for money. It could make you more confident in that people respond positively, but then it can be quite difficult to take the knockbacks.
Excuse me, mate. Do you mind if we have a little chat? Is that all right?
Any pennies?
That's okay. Thanks, sir.
Right. Getting your story straight as well. So you go in there and you hammer them with the right message.
What, to fund the events? Or like your equipment or whatever?
Come on, boys and girls. Like, I tell you what, right? Between all of you here, if you get a fiver in this bucket, I'll MC right now. Cheers. Cheers.
If you see young people being really passionate about what they're doing, that's a great selling point. It's something that they have over most other groups looking for money.
But even with all their enthusiasm, they're still not making enough money.
That's 140.
So there's no point in just targeting your mates. You need to go for people with spending power.
Community projects should try and throw the net as widely as possible. People will support you for different reasons. Older people in the community would want to see young people being active and positive in their community.
Audioactive actually pay for us to use their equipment and to have little gigs and stuff. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. We're trying to raise some money for Audioactive.
I gave money to those two guys because they were really nice and polite and really friendly. And
they weren't too pushy.
After getting their story straight and targeting the right people, Audioactive raised nearly £100 in 2 hours. Plus, they've picked up some match tickets and a T-shirt to auction at a fundraising event.
Just learnt how to approach people, really. I've never really approached that much people in my life, so it was a good experience.
I've just seen a complete transformation amongst all of you, because it's just like, I've seen you buzzing.
Which local businesses will sponsor me?
Man, look at the bling! I was wondering if you could donate all the bling to my worthy cause.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you no bling.
I want the lot.
No, I'm sorry, but no.
Just bling bling?
No, I can get out, please.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
This is Brighton's busiest shopping area, The Lanes. An Audioactive's fundraising team are here to try and persuade local businesses to donate some raffle prizes for a fundraising event.
Companies have a lot of money to give to charity, probably not as much as people think is out there, but still it's a good income source for charities.
There's a benefit for community projects in terms of fundraising because you can always walk into a shop. You know, the person-to-person stuff is easier to negotiate.
We're from Audioactive, we're a youth music project, and our young people are trying to raise money for the music workshop that have been running for them, because we don't have any money.
We don't actually own any of the stock in the shop, so we don't actually have the right to kind of give it away. I mean, you're better off speaking to some of the larger companies, you know, who do that on a regular basis. Further in town.
That's great.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
The first thing you do before you approach a business is that you research that business, so that when you come to pitch them, when you come to approach them, you know how, if they're going to support you, how they're going to support you, so you're not wasting their time completely.
Still empty-handed, the guys from Audioactive try a local business they know well, the Skateboarders Shop.
Hiya.
Hi guys.
We're from Audioactive, which is like a youth music thing in Brighton.
We've got like a fundraising gig next Thursday, and that's where we're planning to give out all the stuff we can put together. Like, so if you gave us a few little things to hand out, we put in a shop and that as we hand them out and stuff.
And they didn't seem to have a pattern that they'd practiced. OK, that's fine, which meant that they were being off the cuff, so to speak, but it also meant that they mumbled quite a lot.
You've got to be able to persuade people why they should give you money to do this. And everyone who's fundraising needs to know what that message is so that they can use it all at the same time, so they all know that they're giving the same message to the public.
Problems facing the community projects is the kind of the coordination, keeping momentum going.
Just got to go onto a different kind of street or road. Yeah. We look like thugs, and they're just going to think we're trying to rob them.
By now, the fundraising team are beginning to lose their enthusiasm, so it's over to Amy for a pep talk.
The point of today is to raise money.
Only kids go to Audioactive. Like, we're raising £100 just for a 2-hour session for us. It's not fair.
If we don't raise enough money from these kind of fundraising events, then we're not going to have any money probably for another 6 months. We have to cover things like staff costs, but also there's the space. It costs £100 a week for us to rent that place.
Now fired up, it's off to the next retailer, but this time...
BBC2. We begin with the OU in a moment, how computer software can be designed to suit the needs of the user, and a rap poet talks about his love of British classic cars. At 2, Richard Blackwood presents Youth Nation. Topics include coping with racism, bullying, and how ex-offenders can fit back into the outside world. At 4, check out Brazil, the human face of the skyscraper skyline and the thriving Japanese community in the city. Anger at Work is at 5. Victims of office, road and even school rage discuss their experiences and advice on simple strategies that can help. Then we're back with the OU at 6, asking can the Philippines become an economic tiger by welcoming multinational oil companies and still protect the environment? All to come on BBC Learning Zone this morning.
It's very difficult to write good software.
How hard it is to write good software all comes down to how much time you really spend understanding the problem.
Writing programs is fairly easy, but
building software systems that people really want to use and that really solve the problems they've got is very difficult indeed, yeah.
The history of software development is littered with computer systems that no one wants to use. Like the Taurus project, commissioned by the Stock Exchange in 1987, only to be cancelled unused 6 years and £300 million later. At Denver Airport in the United States, they installed a computerized baggage handling system. But it didn't handle bags in quite the way it was expected to.
The reputation of the software industry isn't very good, and I think that's a reasonable assessment of the performance that we've made in that business. We've proven that we don't know much about building large software systems. Big software systems are very risky, and we have failed people in many cases in software development. I would consider by being fairly unprofessional and doing things like spending all the money and then saying, well, if you gave us a bit more, we could finish it.
To avoid getting stuck at the end of a software project, you've got to get off to the right start. So how do you begin to analyze what's required? And once you've got going, what's involved in the development process that makes it so difficult? How can the developers plan to deliver better software by good design? Some of the answers can be found in the surprising link between a successful software project at the Britannia Building Society, booking a table at an imaginary restaurant, and what happens when you pay a visit to this doctor's surgery.
To build a good software system, you have to understand what people want from it. And this is just as true in computer games as it is in the software that prints your gas bill. If people are going to like the software they're presented with, the developer has to have a very clear vision of how that software is going to be used and what's going to make it good for the person who uses it.
Making software good for a customer might appear at first sight to be all about knowing how to program a computer. But there's much more to the development process than that.
It's also problem solving in that you have users who have a need and you are trying to provide them with a system which will suit them. And there's creativity in that.
Trying to get some agreement on what to build is so difficult. And we have to try and find ways of communicating what we're doing as specialists in software development with the people who can end